Hey everybody, so I used to do this series on my channel called 5 Backlist Books for Your TBR, and today we're going to do a spin on that. Today I'm going to talk about 6 books that came out recently that I want to make sure more people are reading. More people have them on their TBR. So let me tell you all about them. Let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? I hope you are doing very, very well. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. And of course, I hope you're reading some amazing books. It is a beautiful day here in Northern California. It was cold the last couple days, but it warmed up nicely today. The sun is out. The worst part of today is that I had to work instead of being able to read. But I cannot complain. Today we're going to talk about 6 books that I think came out and should have been read by more people. I think they are personally brilliant, and I want to make sure more people have them on their TBR. They have made me think, they have made me feel, they have made me feel strange and awkward and emotional and cry and all of that amazing stuff. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order a book from your local independent bookstore, and or if you're a library user, make sure a library has a copy for you to get as soon as possible. These books are in no particular order, so we're going to start with Self-Portrait with Boy by Rachel Lyon, out from Scribner Press. When I read this book, I was blown away. I believe this is a debut novel. Yes, it is a debut novel, so I cannot wait to see what Rachel does next. So this is the story of Lou. Lou is a young woman who wants to be a photographer and produce art through photography. And one day she is taking these self-portraits. She's sort of jumping across a window, sets up her camera, takes these portraits of herself sort of in this position when a tragedy occurs. A young boy falls from the roof of her building down the side of the building and passes away. But as she's taking one of her portraits, the boy is captured in the background, and it becomes this idea of this statement around art. And what does this piece mean? What does this piece mean to Lou? But it also then becomes her about developing a relationship with the parents, most specifically the mother of this young boy, and whether she tells her about this art, would she want to know? And who controls this medium? Does the mother have any say-so in this picture because of her son being in the background? And the book meditates on relationships, choices, art. What is art? Is art sometimes triggering, sometimes harmful? Is it sometimes beauty in its own despair? It's all that sort of brilliant discussion. At the heart of it, though, is a complicated, flawed young woman who's going to make a lot of choices that will make you angry. But in the end, Rachel does an amazing job of tackling some very tough topics, but making you think about them. And I was blown away by this book. So that's Self-Portrait with Boy by Rachel Lyon, Scribner. Get your hands on it. I promise you will not be disappointed. I feel weird saying a book by Jami Attenberg was not read enough, but I just feel like her latest novel, All That Could Be Yours, that came out, I want to say, was it 2 years ago now? I just wish more people had read it because I thought it was so good. Now, Jami Attenberg is brilliant at creating sort of the family drama. She is so good at building that dynamic. In this book, we have Alex, who is sort of always been very curious about the real life of her father. And now her father has now become ill, and so she goes home, and because he's ill, she feels like she can sort of interrogate her mother, Barbara, about this life, about sort of, he's a real estate developer, and he's not known to be a good person. And Alex wants to know more. So she starts to try to dig into the family. But this causes Barbara to sort of reflect on how she got to this point in her life and the decisions and choices she made to stay with, I believe the father's name is Victor, and her family. At the same time, we have Alex's brother who has left. Oh, the book takes place in New Orleans. beautifully depicted. But he has left his wife in New Orleans to go to California to chase his film career. And he's left his wife at home, and she's sort of having like this nervous breakdown. And it's about how all of that comes together. Victor's past, Victor's present, Barbara's choices, Alec's choices, George, the brother's choices, Twyla, the sister-in-law's choices, how all of that comes together to sort of figure out why this family is the way they are and who they are. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I was absorbed. I read it so quickly because Jami Attenberg just makes a world and you want to be in it. So, and they're all crazy dysfunctional people and you will love them. So that's All This Could Be Yours by Jami Attenberg, out from HMH. I have not been subtle about my love of Jacqueline Woodson. I think she is one of the greatest writers writing for America right now. And she writes across drama. She writes across genres and lines. And one thing she writes so well is middle grade fiction. And her book, Harbor Me, that came out, I think in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, absolutely blew me away. It broke my heart. I cried like a baby. But basically what this story is, it's a middle grade story about a group of students that are put together in a sort of a classroom for the reason that they need to create a communication. They need to create bonds with each other. But they sort of know each other. But as they get to know each other more, incredible relationships between these children develop. However, we also learn about their pasts. We have one boy that is dealing with his father who has gone missing, presumably deported, and how that has affected him as a person. There's death and loss and all of those angles, and all of these children are super complicated. They're so young but have to deal with so much. But this small group of kids come together and talk and have conversations. And what does that mean? What safe harbor does that make for them? And it gets complicated and it gets teary and it is beautifully, beautifully done. So that is Jacqueline Woodson's Harbor Me. This is out from Penguin, the Nancy Paulsen imprint, and it is brilliant. Okay. It's also weird to say a book longlisted for the Booker, not enough people read it, but they didn't, because not enough people read The Man Who Saw Everything by Deborah Levy. I have read a number of Deborah Levy's books, and I think she's one of those authors. I think she's been nominated for the Booker, at least the long list 3 times, if not the short list a couple times as well. You know, I can never remember. But this book blew me away. So set in, I think, the 1980s, our main character, Sal, is this young man who gets this invitation to go to Germany. And he's sort of going there to do his own research, but he also has to write an article that is favorable to the German political system. And one of the things he has to do is he has to take a picture at Abbey Road in London and bring it with him. And on the day he's doing that, a car sort of swipes him. And that event changes everything. So the first part of the book is a story about him going to Germany. But there is sort of this off sense to it. It's always sort of in a fog. And there's sort of these different symbols that come up to him that mean something, but he can't quite put his life together. And he recognizes that he's had this accident, so he's thinking, what's going on? The book then takes an incredible turn. And when it does that, which I'm not going to tell you anything about, everything starts to fall into place. And you start to realize the brilliance of Deborah Levy in this book. I can't even tell you. When you finish it, you will know. So that's The Man Who Saw Everything by Deborah Levy. You know, I said 3-time a Booker nominee. It's right here on the front. There you go, guys. It's late in the day for me. I'm a little sleepy. I apologize. But that book is amazing. Now we're going to talk about 2 books that are super, super weird in the most wonderful way. Oh, Deborah Levy's book is out from Bloomsbury in the United States. I apologize. I don't think I said that. The next book I want to talk to you about is The Lost Daughter Collective by Lindsey Drager, out from Dzanc Books, I think. I got to remember here real quick. Dzanc Books, yes. I don't even know how to describe this book to you, but basically here's the premise. We have this father figure who is telling bedtime stories to his young daughter about this group called the Lost Daughter Collective, which is a group of men who have all lost their daughters in some way and sort of are pining for them to come back. And there's a main character called the Archivist, who is really the mystery of his daughter is at the center of it all. But the thing is, no one actually thinks she's lost. Like, she's not there, she's not present, but they don't feel that she's lost. And it becomes this sort of conversation about the roles of women in society and the patriarchy, and how there's a brilliant quote in it, and I can't remember if it's on the back or whatever, but it's like, sons are sons until they're married, then they're husbands, but daughters are always daughters, or something like that. And it's sort of this idea of fathers never allowing their daughters to grow up, no matter how old those daughters get, because they don't want them to make choices for themselves. They always want to have control. And it's sort of a discussion regarding that power dynamic, but it's also so metaphorical and allegorical in a lot of ways that Lindsey just does an amazing job of just sort of keeping you off kilter the entire book. It is really brilliant. It is super strange, and it is everything you need when you just want to read a book and go, what did I just read? Let me read it again. So that's The Lost Daughter Collective by Lindsey Drager, out from Dzanc Books. And yeah, that book will definitely make you think what went on. Last but not least is another book that is super weird and super strange and amazing, and that is The Need by Helen Phillips. This is out from Simon & Schuster. I think this was longlisted for the National Book Award a couple of years ago, but this is sort of a sci-fi book where everything is so crazy. So our main character is home one night with her 2 children, hears someone in the house, goes to hide, and when she finally comes out, she runs into the person who has broken into her house, and it is someone that she knows oh so very well. And that dynamic informs the rest of the narrative. We learn stuff about alternate times, alternate people, alternate things that happen to her family, and sort of everything starts to connect together. The main character is on a dig, like an archaeology dig. That's not right. I can hear it in my head that I'm not saying archaeological dig. Maybe that's right. Sorry, y'all. A little sleepy today. And she's been digging up these items, and one is like a Bible where God is referred to as she throughout. One is like a coin that looks different, and people are sort of protesting what they're finding because they feel like it shows that there's something off with their beliefs in their world. And that comes into an effect for her. And it is all about the crazy, crazy dynamics of time and reality and family, and what you will do to keep your family together, even if it may not be your family. That's all I'll say. This book is nerve-wracking in the beginning, and it's quite scary, but by the end of it, you are just astounded at Helen Phillips' brilliance. It is so good. So that's The Need by Helen Phillips. This is out from Simon & Schuster, and you can get your hands on it as we speak. So that is 6 books. 6 books that you may have forgotten about, you may have already read, that's my hope, or you're going to go out and you're going to pick out all 6 of them right now because they all sound absolutely amazing. I hope, as always, that you guys are loving what I'm putting out. I'm always looking for suggestions on videos. I'll do my best. If you want to put something down in the bottom that you would like me to try to do, please let me know. As always, if you're a return subscriber, I couldn't do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I thank you so very, very much. I hope you subscribe. I hope you stick around, hit the bell, do all that stuff. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye!